As Hurricane Dorian approached, heavy rain hit shuttered and boarded up homes and businesses all over West Palm Beach. With signs that the Category 5 storm devastating the Bahamas was headed straight to us, Mayor Keith James activated the city's Emergency Operations Center located in Fire Station 5.
In recent history, there have been few threats as significant as the threat that Hurricane Dorian poses to our city at this moment.
Once the Emergency Operations Center was activated, the action was nonstop, 24 hours a day. Firefighters responded to medical emergencies as well as accidents on rain-slick roads. City workers assigned to the EOC assumed special roles for the duration of the storm, some spending several days and nights here, sleeping on cots and air mattresses, eating meals prepared by host firefighters.
The people that have been moved into our station, we try to invite them in like family. We try to have them be part of our meals, be a part of our conversations.
Assistant Fire Chief Brent Bloomfield, who's also EOC manager, coordinates everything that goes on here once it's activated, including keeping everyone on their toes.
So we need to make sure that we stay prepared and we stay vigilant and we make sure that we just keep doing what we're doing, which is preparing for the storm.
In this room, workers who normally perform very different duties fielded calls to the mayor's hotline from worried residents.
Good afternoon, City of West Palm Beach.
You've been here 4 days?
4 days here, yeah.
And you slept here?
Yes, we slept here.
So how was that?
It's been an experience. It's the first time that I rode out a storm here, and everyone was very great, and they fed us, and they took care of us really good.
And when it finally became clear that Hurricane Dorian would remain offshore as it headed north, sparing our city, the focus shifted to helping our neighbors in the islands with this police-led drive to gather and deliver supplies to the hurricane-ravaged Bahamas.
Sergeant Matthias and I are going to be taking our private vessels over this weekend and bring some of these supplies over as much as possible.
This is Sheryl Kahn reporting for WPB TV. They came from all over the state and across the country.
Thank you, all of you, for being here with us. Welcome to our march.
Hundreds of protesters, led by a nonprofit human rights organization called Coalition of Immokalee Workers, on a 10-day tour of several cities ending right here in South Florida.
We came from the University of Notre Dame to support immigrant farm workers.
Their primary mission, to get fast food giant Wendy's to sign the so-called Fair Food Program aimed at stopping abuse of farm workers like unpaid overtime and dangerous conditions in the fields. They're also asking for an extra penny a pound for produce to be paid directly to farm workers like these. We're here to get Wendy's to pay a penny more for the people who are working in the fields. McDonald's, Burger King, Taco Bell, and Subway have already signed on, but not Wendy's.
Wendy's would rather pay Mexican farmers to grow their tomatoes in worse labor conditions than to pay local farmers and workers a fair wage.
So after rallying in West Palm Beach, the group headed out, led by 87-year-old wheelchair-bound Ethel Kennedy, Robert F. Kennedy's widow.
We can hear it for Mrs. Ethel Kennedy. Yay!
They walked past the convention center,
Boycott Wendy's!
through downtown West Palm Beach and across the Flagler Bridge,
Boycott Wendy's!
winding up on ultra-upscale Palm Beach Island, where Wendy's board chairman, billionaire Nelson Peltz has a home, and where protesters were met by some local supporters.
Wendy's and Escucha!
A good deal of curiosity, incredulous stares, and occasional hostility.
This is really sad. Come on. Really sad.
And so it went down County Road to swanky Worth Avenue, past exclusive shops and galleries, to a closing rally in a park along the Intracoastal. Organizers say they'd originally been denied a permit and had to sue the town of Palm Beach for permission to march here. It's not yet clear if they'll get the results they were hoping for. This is Sheryl Kahn reporting for WPB TV. 63-year-old Kevin and his 62-year-old friend George are just settling into their new home.
It's on the same side as St. Anne's, yeah.
There's still work to be done on their apartment, but the two men are delighted and relieved to be here because up until recently, this is what they called home, a bench outside West Palm Beach City Hall. Why did you choose to hang out at City Hall?
It's safer. You got cameras, you got security, and you got people walking back and forth all day long.
So that's where Kevin, George, and many others spent most of their days and nights reading books taken out of the library next door, smoking cigarettes, and sleeping with one eye open.
You learn to be a light sleeper out here. You gotta be. It's a matter of survival.
The two friends wound up homeless after health issues and layoffs led to a downward spiral in their lives.
I used to work for AT&T, and I retired from there, and then I worked as an electrician.
And then what happened?
I had a heart attack. Couldn't go near the electric anymore. They put a pacemaker in me.
I worked downtown Chicago for years.
Remodeling homes?
Yeah.
So how did this happen?
Stupidity.
What does that mean?
A friend of mine told me I had a job down here, and he was living on the streets.
While hanging out here, Kevin, the more outgoing of the two, would talk to passers-by, from residents coming to City Hall to pay their bills, to city workers, and even the mayor and police chief.
Are you ready?
And that's how Kevin got to know Armando Fana, director of the Department of Housing and Community Development. Fana made it his mission to get Kevin, George, and some of their friends off the streets. It took months to arrange for the men to live in a fully furnished and rehabbed apartment owned by the city, and weeks to convince them to take him up on it.
And change is always difficult. You might not think change is difficult from going from homelessness to a roof over your head, but it is a huge change for some of these folks.
But finally, after agreeing to pay 30% of their small monthly government checks for rent, Kevin and George moved in. You feel like this is going to be good?
Oh yeah, now I can take a shower in the morning and I can go out and look for work.
What do you think is going to be the best part about having your own place?
It's going to be getting back into society, getting back to, not being on the streets, interacting with the neighbors, just normal everyday things.
That we take for granted.
Exactly.
This is Sheryl Kahn reporting for WPB TV. It's been 20 years since we've seen spring training in West Palm Beach, and now with the opening of the newest Major League Baseball facility in the country, it's finally back. The ballpark of the Palm Beaches, with a price tag of about $150 million, is hosting two teams, the Washington Nationals and Houston Astros. On the Astros' first full squad workout day, there was high praise for the ballpark.
It's a gorgeous facility. It's certainly the best that I've ever trained in.
The park is attracting not only locals but also snowbirds and tourists who made the trip to see spring training up close. Some say they don't even care who's playing because just being out here is pure joy.
How's it going? Good.
But others do have favorite players, like 12-year-old Joe Estevez, who lives nearby. Joe came here with his dad and sister on a mission to get an autograph from
Jose Altuve because he's a good inspiration to me because he's one of the shortest guys in baseball. But it doesn't matter how tall he is or how strong he is, he plays really good and he plays with all his heart.
Joe wasn't the only one seeking out the popular player.
Give him room.
But he was not easily discouraged.
One! Just one, please!
And finally, Joe got what he came for.
Jose Altuve, I finally got him.
What did he say? Was he nice?
Yeah, well, he was kind of walking and he did it really quick.
And while fans like Joe are enjoying the thrill of meeting Major League Baseball players and catching foul balls they get to keep.
You caught those yourself?
For some local residents, the return of spring training means new jobs, at least for a couple of months.
Because that's nice and be easy and they'll take care of you.
Many of the ballpark's ushers are retired, but they're more than happy to go back to work when the office looks like this. So here you are.
At the stadium, why not?
Why not, indeed. This is Sheryl Kahn reporting for WPB TV.